All right, everyone, welcome TheXVNDER to the pod. He is a creator on Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok. He is known for playing and crying to RPGs like Xenoblade Chronicles, Clair Obscur, Expedition 33, and Kingdom Hearts, but also has a love for horror games, visual novels, and slice-of-life animes. Xander, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I've been so excited to have you on the show, dude.
I've been looking forward to it. I was like, we had a few like reschedules here and there,
I
but I was like,
know.
nah, I'm like, today's the lock-in day.
I know. I'm so excited, dude. I don't know how. I don't even know where to start. Like, let's start from your fucking way in the beginning. Way in the beginning.
How far back in the beginning?
I'm talking the beginning. Like, if it's like in 20. I don't even know. Maybe
So, like,
2007.
before Jashish days.
Yeah, like maybe that. But
Okay.
before we get there, hold on. Let's bring it back. How has life been going?
Lot better for sure. Definitely a lot better.
Oh my god.
Definitely a lot better.
Yeah. Well, we can get into the details, or if share as much as you want to or not. But
Yeah.
I've actually known. Oh my god! Since you said it, I almost said Jashish again. That's so crazy.
Like, I forgot that dude existed.
I know. Well, I've actually known of Xander for a very long time, and we've been good friends for like a couple years now. And honestly, before the pod, I sent podcasts to Xander. Like,
Yeah. I podcast back and forth.
yeah. So
You got
anyway,
your practice in.
I really did. But yeah, if y'all don't know, Xander used to stream a few years back, but I'm gonna hand the mic over to you, and you bring it way to the beginning of your content creation days, even if that's Vine, even if that's like way further.
I forgot about Vine.
That's what I'm saying. We're going way back. So here you go. Take the floor.
God. Years wise, I can't remember exactly, but I do know I was in middle school, and I used to go.
I knew it.
I used to go under the name J Money on YouTube, but there was 3 X's beforehand and afterwards.
And it so would be for that time.
And I used to do AMVs, so I would get like cutscenes from like Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, and I would get like matching music. I did a lot of like Sokai. Like stuff for like Final Fantasy crossover Kingdom Hearts type of thing, and I would just make AMVs.
Oh my god.
And I did that for a good while. I just got bored, so I stopped. And then around, I want to say like 2011, 2012-ish, I started just like, I don't know how I just discovered other like creators like Kian and JC, Jen McAllister, all that, I forget his name, Ricky, I forget his name.
I know, the YouTube bubble.
The YouTube bubble, yeah. And then so I was like, oh, this is really cool. But I was like, I never found my life interesting enough to like do that kind of like vlog related kind of content. And then it dwindled into where I started finding creators because I was like, oh, who makes Kingdom Hearts content? Because I was just super KH pilled at the time. And so I ended up finding like Sarah Key, Gamers Join, HMK, and I was like, oh, this is really, really cool. And then it started dwindling into like PewDiePie, Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, and I was like, oh, this is sick. I was like, I know how to video edit. For the most part, if I can learn how to do this, I was like, this would be really fun to do. So then I was trying to like find a name for a good while, and how Jashish came about was a vocalist for a band I really like called The Plot and You. His name is Landon Tours. He was like on like they're on tour, and he was like on a long like road trip, and he was like, oh, I'm on a road trip, yada yada, like tweet questions at me. And I just randomly was like, oh, give me a nickname, you're not down. And he just responded with Jashish. And I was like, oh, I'm going to use that. He spelled it with 1 H, though, and that was taken by just like an inactive account. So I just added an extra H, and it still looked cool. I was like, oh, the extra H actually was stylish with it.
Yeah.
So then that's how Jashish came about. And then I did YouTube for maybe till like 2017, 2018. And in between that, I had like a sub channel that I did with another friend, and we would make like insane like challenges where we would like get like Nerf weapons and put actual blades on them, or get Beyblades, put actual blades. I have one. You want me to pull it out real quick?
If you want to, yeah.
I still have one of my mementos.
Oh my gosh. Chair podcast.
Okay, I lied. I don't know where it's at. I don't know. I was like, I thought it was in my closet, but I guess not.
I love that.
I was like, where did it go?
No, but you were really in the YouTube hole there, like, because challenges
Yeah.
and doing all of that around, I want to say that was like 2012 to 2015 era, like.
Yeah,
exactly.
Around that, I was like 2014 to 2015, 16. I think that was a big cause of why I have stomach issues, to be honest.
Why?
Because we would do crazy stuff, like we would do, yeah, like we did a at the same day, a Carolina Reaper, a Trinidad Scorpion, and then a Ghost Pepper. We did all three. It was not
that
fun,
actually
dude.
you might be onto something with that.
And then we did like things like the world's like sourest drink, the world's saltiest drink, the most chocolatiest drink, the hottest drink, and we put like Carolina Reaper blended up into it. Like
Ew.
it was yeah. I put my body through it.
Yeah.
At that time I was able to. Now I'm like suffering the consequences long term, I think.
The things you'll do for content. Was it successful though?
Yeah, that channel at this point now has like 1 million subscribers.
Okay, so it's still up.
Yeah, those videos are still there.
Is it
too.
your dead name?
Oh no, it's my friend's channel. It's like ADHD's World.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go back and look because now I'm curious.
Dude, they're bad. That's actually, is it on my hand? Wait, where's it at? So you can't really see it, but there's like a line right here that goes like across my thumb down this way. We were doing a like school like related video where we got like rulers and things of that sort, and we were attaching blades to them and hitting watermelons, yada yada.
Oh my gosh.
And I had one of those like Nerf crossbows, and the safety mechanism on mine failed, of course.
Oh my
and
God.
when we were like practicing and setting up for like the next segment of the video, and I went to like pretend to like be like, oh, I'm gonna do this. I was like pretending to like act like I'm gonna aim it at the watermelon and shoot the watermelon, and it like launched. And I was like, we need to get that because there's blades attached to it, and that is in front of the house where people are gonna be walking by.
Oh my God.
And I took 2 steps. And I just collapsed. And I was like, I'm so dizzy. What the heck's going on? And my hand was just like drenched in blood, dripping. I split my finger like completely open. It was so bad. And we ended up like cleaning it all up. And then my friend and his mom, luckily, like they had like medical stuff because he used to study. I think him or his mom studied like medical for a bit. And so he had, this was the most painful thing ever. He had to pinch my wound as close as he can while his mother butterfly taped it closed, and then we wrapped it up, and now it just looks like a line. Like I'm surprised how well it healed, but yeah, after that I was like, I need to be more careful.
What
like
I feel like
I almost lost my thumb.
I feel like growing up as a dude is so different. Like I was just trying to figure out how to curl my hair with a straightener. Like you know what I mean? Like fuck.
I'm over here just putting blades on the Beyblades and rulers, Nerf guns and
stuff. Right.
Yeah, and then so a little bit after.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, so a little bit after that, it was almost like a blessing and a curse because doing that channel was helping grow my actual channel. But then it got to a point where like it was more of his audience than my audience.
Yeah.
And so every time I like was uploading or I was like, because I
even
started
on your solo
like
channel.
Yeah, because like a lot of them were just like migrating there, and so whenever I would upload or when I started like test run, because I was testing the like live streaming aspect out on YouTube because I didn't know about Twitch at the time, and it was just like nothing was ever like about my videos. It was only like wanting to talk about him and that channel, and I got to and it got to a point where like I kind of just like lost the love for doing it. But I knew I still wanted to make content or do it to some degree. So then that's when I found out about Twitch. And I didn't even tell anyone I was starting over on Twitch. I was like, I'm going to just start fresh because like I want like my own audience again.
I see.
And so the only people that knew were just like some family, a couple friends at that time. And so those were like my first like viewers. And then now I'm where I'm at now, but then with a name change.
Well, okay, you skipped over a lot with that sentence. I mean, so let's go back. I came to realize or know who you were like back before. I think when did you stop? Like in 2022?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Three.
like I got there at the like literally the tail end. Um,
Yeah, because I came back last year in October,
mhm.
so it would have been like 2.5, 3 years prior from that. So
Yeah.
yeah, like 2021, 22.
Yeah. And even then, I thought you were like super cozy, even though like I can't even remember what the fuck you were playing. I'll be honest. Like it was so long ago.
The last thing I was playing was Xenoblade Chronicles 1. I
That
was
makes
playing
sense. Yeah.
that. I was in the middle of that, and then I had just, I think, wrapped up near Replicant.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
crazy. I'll let you explain.
I'll try
Yeah.
to do like a TLDR, I guess, of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so when I was still just sheesh, I was in the middle of moving, well, the process of potentially moving
Hmm.
to a new place, and then that kind of went straight into the ground. Yeah, and then after that whole process, it got to a point where like the person I was seeing at that time had just like a change of heart, and instead of talking to me about it and seeing what we can figure out, decided to cancel out on the other place. And so that left us in this like, well, where are we gonna move? Our stuff's in a truck. So then I had to like last minute put all of the stuff in the storage, and then there
Hmm.
was this like big thing we were supposed to move out of state. That fell apart. And then so basically it ended up revolting to like me moving back home where I used to live before I moved out,
Hmm.
vice versa. That relationship fell apart months later. I just decided I needed to just cut it completely out and just kind of restart my life.
Hmm.
And the process of that, I also was like undergoing a name change because I guess I'll just put it out there now. So I used to go by Josh, but growing up, I never liked the name, and I always thought that like, oh, I was just stuck with it, might as well just deal with it. But then as I got older, I started realizing people do change their names, whether it's like they just like adopt a different part of their name, so on and so forth. And I was like,
Hmm.
well, I really like my middle name. And so I was like, well, I'm just going to drop the first name, adopt the middle name as my first name, and then go by that. And
Hmm.
so now I go by Alexander, but to everyone, I'm just Xander.
Hmm.
And so then I was like, well, given now I have a whole name change that I'm going by IRL, I was like, I need to adapt to that on all my socials because Jashish was just a play on Josh, basically.
Uh-huh.
And so then I was like strifling on because I was like, I wanted to have my name in it. I didn't want to have play on words of stuffs. And so I ended up having the Xander, but the regular A in itself was taken. And I was like, well, I don't know what to do. And then one day I was listening to one of my favorite bands, Churches, and I was like, oh, they use a U as a V in their name. I was like, I'll just make the A V in my name. And that wasn't taken. So I just immediately snatched it across like all social media. So then that's how I became the Xander.
Wow. Huge. In the middle of all that, I ended up meeting Xander at Reconnect 20. God, what was it? 2023.
23.
Yeah, and that was just like I don't
That
know.
was cool.
Yeah, I feel like it was kind of just instant.
That was my first time like meeting, and because like I'm very introverted and I didn't like inside basically like now in my IRL I don't really have any friends outside of the ones that I met through
That's
Twitch.
crazy. I'm still shocked by
So
that.
it yeah, because it was like everyone I went to high school with, it was just like
Yeah.
either like split apart. I was like, oh wow, you really weren't who I thought you were, or I just had to drop bad apples. So I kind of just was like, oh, then I have a bunch of acquaintances, I guess,
Yeah.
people that I know online. And so it was my first time not only flying, but I was like, I'm meeting a bunch of people
Oh, uh-huh.
that I just know from
Yeah.
username and webcam on a stream. And in my head, I was like, okay, is this gonna be like high school all over again, where I'm actually not wanted
I
in these
see.
spaces, and I'm gonna just be like, wow, I'm flew out here and I'm just by myself. But it was the complete opposite of that, and like connections grew closer. Like we were partying all like 3 days of the weekend. So
Yeah.
it
It
was
was a
wild.
time. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
it
But
was
yeah,
crazy.
that's insane. So it sounds like really you've been creating since the second you could.
Yeah, yeah, basically.
Right? And then I guess like you must have always had this kind of like dream or goal to be either online in some capacity or I guess was it YouTube maybe that planted the seed for you.
Yeah, YouTube is like what planted the seed. I always
Yeah.
knew, like when I was a young kid, like one thing I remember just wanting to do. Now I see how difficult and complex it can be, where I'm just like, maybe not that. I always wanted
Mm-hmm.
to do something within like the video game realm, and my
Right.
brain at first was like, well, I, I didn't even think content creation existed at the time. I was way too. I was
Right.
really young. I think I was maybe like in barely getting into like middle school,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, well, maybe I can be like a game developer or learn to code, yada yada, and do something like
That's
that. But
insane.
then that's when the whole YouTube realm space came in, and I was like, oh, I can do that, because like as a kid, I've always just like had this itch to just be creative in so many different ways. Like my brain just loves to be creative. It loves working
Mm-hmm.
and just being occupied by just being like, yeah, just creatively just inspired by things. So then YouTube really started that, and then we can go off into it once we get into like other topics. But it's like
Yeah.
now I have so many other things that I'm like
Yeah. No, I hear you
on the
there.
brain. Yeah,
So I guess it's always just kind of come naturally to you, huh?
yeah,
That's insane. And I guess let's like pivot a little bit and talk about how you got into gaming, because if you were always on YouTube, I'm assuming somewhere along the way someone had to also plant the seed of gaming.
yeah. So back in elementary school, I had a friend named Steven. And I remember this was my first friend ever, and I had gone over to his house.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like I was meeting his mom. The parents always have to meet, make sure things are
Right.
cool for dropping the kids off. And so we were hanging out, yada yada. And then his brother came home, and so he was like, "Oh, let me introduce you to my brother, yada
Mm-hmm.
yada." And he's like, "Oh, he might be playing video games." And I was like, "What is that?" And so I ended up meeting his brother, and his
Mm-hmm.
brother was playing Final Fantasy on the NES. And I
Okay.
was like, "Oh, this looks really cool." I think it was Final Fantasy 3. I can't remember which one it was. But
3 is so early.
yeah, it was, because
Well, if it's
they had
elementary school,
all,
that seems like that tracks.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um what's it called? And I was like so fascinated by it, because I was like, that's really cool. And I remember later that night when I went back home, I had told my grandfather, I was like, can we get a video game console? And he was like, oh, great. He was shown video games. Now he wants a console. And
Oh.
that's where that all started. And so he was like, well, do you know what you want if I get you a game, or do you not care? I just said Final Fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, well, as long as it's not mature, I'll get it for you. And so later that year, it was Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
and my grandfather, on Christmas Eve, he woke me, my brother, and my sister up, and he was like, I got a big surprise for you guys. And so we went to the living room and opened it. It was a PlayStation 1, and he
Oh.
handed each of us a game that was, wrapped up. My sister had Tomb Raider.
Oh,
Um,
cute.
I think Maddie had he had Croc Legend of the Gobos and Crash Bandicoot.
Oh, okay.
And then mine, I was like, what the fuck is this? Because theirs were just singular like things. Final Fantasy on the PS1, those were like double discs. So my case
Yeah.
was a bit bigger. So I was like, in my head, I was like, what is
What is
this?
this brick?
And so I unwrapped it, and it was Final Fantasy 8. And I was like, oh, sick.
I
I got a Final Fantasy
see.
now. So
Yeah.
it all started. So Final Fantasy 8 was my very first video game. So like I basically was just thrown into the RPG
Wow.
realm since
Yeah.
like the age of 4. And with Final Fantasy 8, it's a bit complex compared
Mm-hmm.
with combat and all that compared to the rest of the games, because it has like the junction system, triple triad. It's a bit different from the other games.
Yeah.
And so my grandfather also got me the strategy guide for Final Fantasy
Oh,
8.
sick.
And so whenever I was like stuck and I needed help, he would help me with like the junctioning or getting like my classes and everything set up, or my team. And then he would send me on my way, and I would just like progress through the game. Anytime I got stuck and needed like any kind of help, he would just come and help me. So if it wasn't for him and knowing, like, reading through the strategy guide, learning what to do, I would have probably never gotten past
No,
that game.
I
But
feel that.
with his help, I was able
Yeah.
to go through from front to end, and it was one of my favorite video games for like the longest time, until I played Xenoblade Chronicles 3 this year.
So is that, if you had to give top 3 favorite video games at this moment?
Top 3?
Yeah, for you.
Um, Xenoblade Chronicles 3,
Uh-huh.
Clair Obscur, and Final Fantasy 8.
Okay. Wow, you heard it here. um, well, yeah, because like you just played, and I wish I've played Expedition 33, because I just have no input on that at this moment. Actually, for any of those, I have yet to play any of those. But since making your return, I know you've played a lot of Xenoblade, kind of picking up where you left off before you stopped, and then
Yeah.
also playing like just newer stuff. But also in tandem, you've done a huge rebrand, not only with your username, but also coming back with new artwork and new emotes and all of
Yeah.
that stuff. Would you like to talk about that?
Yeah, so basically throughout the whole like 3 years that I was kind of just in a deep hiatus, I was like, well, with the name change, I was like everything needed to be like I wanted everything to be fresh and new because I felt like I was so limited with Jashish. I was so limited with what I had because the old name for the community was Wayfinder's Homeland, and that was
Mm-hmm.
super like Kingdom Hearts pilled because
Mm-hmm.
of Wayfinders, and the whole logo was like my own little unique Wayfinder. And so I was like, well, let me just dig deep into my core, things that like I was very fascinated with growing up, so on and so forth. And so I had just like the idea of Somnus because I always growing up, I got called weird for it. Now it's like the biggest blessing where like I was super fascinated with sleep and just why we have particular dreams that we have. But then there's like the other realms of it of like, oh, like astral projection, sleep
Dude,
paralysis, because
astral
that's something that
projection
I
is
struggle
crazy.
with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm your sleep
it's
paralysis
wild.
demon.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Newly.
Yeah.
But so I was like, well, I was like, and so basically the whole city aspect of it, I actually got a little bit of inspiration from Sand Ghost because her community is called Ghost City. And I was like, oh, Somnus City would be dope.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, okay, let me use that as like the core concept of like where the community would like I guess be staying in.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have it set to now where they exist within Somnus City as like I guess the residents,
Mm-hmm.
and then those who are subscribed are basically just like an ascended version of residents, which they are the dreamers
Yeah.
of Somnus City. And I kind of have like the whole like streaming aspect of it as like its own unique thing
Mm-hmm.
because now with how I'm building it outside of streaming where it's more of like a world, I have like actual original characters that I'm making for this world and expanding upon it.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is all of that planning that I was doing for like the past 3 years. And at first, a lot of my emotes are just like my OC of me just doing like little cozy emotes or whatever.
Right.
But now I'm going through like a whole like retouch of everything. Where like Somnus City is now having its own unique look. It's not inspired off of Quadratum or anything of that
Yeah.
sort. And so now it's its own unique look. I had like brainstormed so many different like building names that were inspired from video games or things
Mm-hmm.
that I really really loved growing up that were just that make me me. And so that's happening with that, and now I'm having a whole set of new emotes made where it's going to be not just my original character of myself, but it's going to have like the other original characters
Yeah.
like Ava, Nevaeh, Felix, Maddie, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be like its own like unique thing that I'm now like fully diving into with like the whole brand aspect of things.
Right. Wow, that's crazy. I don't think I've seen that from any other streamer and content creator to build a whole world and then create their own new characters. So, what has that been like for you? Is that like challenging, or has creating stories and building characters always been something like you've been doing in the back of your mind? Kind of like if you look back at your life, you're like, oh, that's always been there.
I think it's always been there. I just never like channeled it because
Yeah.
back in school, my favorite subject was English or language arts, whatever you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
and it was one of those subjects that I like excelled in, and I always like loved the idea because like our in the school I went to, a lot of our like exit exams or like the big part that determined our grade was we had to write short stories,
Mm-hmm.
and it got to a point where when I was graduating I did a little short story based off of a night terror that I had, and I basically just made it into its own like story, and I kind of used a little bit of Amnesia: The Dark Descent, which is a horror game. I kind of like
Okay.
fused them together because I didn't really have like monsters or anything, but I wanted to like deep dive into like the horror aspect of it.
Yeah.
And then my teacher was really like where did this come from? Like she was very much like what the heck,
What the?
like how
Yeah.
did you come up with this? And so I explained it to her, and then I remember later that same week I got called to the principal's office, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, they're gonna think I plagiarized this is not
Yeah.
my work, anything of that sort. and it was a similar thing where like they were just like because she was like he needs to explain this to you on how he came up with this idea,
Right.
and they were under the impression that I wanted to become a writer or that it was something that I wanted to channel,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like they were like already ready to help set me up with like a college to like go to, but I was like nah, I was like that this was just for fun. I didn't at that time I didn't have like a passion for it. It was just a fun thing to come up
Mm-hmm.
with. And so it's crazy now because like I've the past 3 years with everything that happened, like I go to therapy monthly
Mm-hmm.
now, and that's just to like help other little aspects of like my life that I still kind of struggle with. Um,
Therapy's important.
and so, hmm oh yeah, it's saved my life for sure.
Yeah.
Um, and so we started digging deeper into like what makes me me, and this was probably I want to say like February, March,
Mm-hmm.
where we dug into like the whole creative writing aspect, and she was like, "Oh, like," and then I told her the same story that I basically just told you,
Yeah.
and it didn't hit me until now, but she had questioned, and she was like, "Is that something that you still want to like that you still have like thought of doing, yada yada?" And I was like, "I never really thought of that." I was like, "I never thought of like, oh, like creating stories." Because in my head at the time, I was like, "What would I write about?" I just wrote about a night terror that I had,
Yeah.
and it just happened to just be the best thing that they, I guess, they read.
Right.
And so, and then in my head, it clicked. I was like, "Oh my god." Somna City, I can use this as an opportunity
Yeah.
to build upon and create this world because it's a fresh palette. And so I was like, well, I have my original character of myself, and the character of Ava has always been there for like the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
Like that goes as far back as to high school, because you know how in high school, how like with parents and they're like, oh, when are you gonna get married? You want to start thinking about
Right.
having kids. I was always I started thinking in the future. I was like, oh, I need a plan if I have a daughter, if I have a
Oh,
a
that's cute.
whatever. So Ava was a name where I was like, oh, I would love to name a daughter Ava if I have
Yeah.
a daughter, if I ever have kids in the future. And so like that name just like stayed embedded in my brain. Same thing with Nevea, which is just heaven backwards. And and
Not
so
me.
I
Like.
and and so every single like video game like Final Fantasy 14 online or anything where I was able to create my own character, give it a name, I switched between giving the character's name Ava or Nevea. So that name just
Mm.
bounced since high school.
Wow.
And then with Wayfinder's Homeland, I wanted like to have like an AI type of like existent thing where it's like Cortana from Halo,
Oh, yeah, okay.
something like that of that sort. And I was like, oh, Ava can be the little like artificial intelligence thingy of the
Hmm.
world. And then that whole concept just got scrapped. I never knew what to do with it.
Yeah.
And so then it came to the mind where I was like, okay, I was like, original character Ava, original character Nevea. I was like, I already got two down.
Yeah.
And then as I started brainstorming that, I like wrote out how I was like, oh, maybe it was kind of just like how I wanted them to like, I guess how I visioned them in my head, gave them like a little character chart on how their personalities are, things of that sort. And then I was on a good, I mean, I still am, but I was on a hard anime binge for a good minute.
You really
And
were.
I had watched, yeah, and I had watched Orange. No, I watched Anohana first, and then I watched Orange. Both sad animes. Like I was bawling my
Sad.
eyes out, and it was so weird because after Orange, I was like, I really want to write like a whole story with it. So then that's when
Yeah.
like I was like, okay. And it's weird because what I'm writing now was not the concept I originally had. It did
Hmm.
a whole 180
Oh
because
God.
the story I was originally going to tell, because like with what I'm writing now, it's like my OC is like his own character,
Hmm.
and it's so weird because sometimes I have to remember like treat him as his own character, even though
Oh,
like
he's
it's
not you, but
basically
he's you.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so sometimes it's hard. So like the scenes that I write where it's from like Ava's perspective, it's a bit easier because I'm like telling it through her eyes.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I'll read that back and I'm just like reading it about myself or my character of me, and I'm just like I'm like, that's so weird, but like it's how she sees him.
Right.
Um and so basically my character, I was gonna give him just a lot of the stuff that I struggle with mentally and yada
Mhm.
yada. And it was gonna be a very depressing, sad ass story. It was gonna be because like I was like, I can write me a good sad story. I know that for sure.
Yeah.
And so it was gonna be this super depressing, sad story, where he struggled, and there was like a potential like bittersweet ending where it was
Oh.
like he ended up not existing in the end of the at the end of the story, but they
Mm.
found ways to move on, or yada yada, or maybe there was like a hopeful end to it. And then as I started writing it, I was like, no, it has to be a cute like coming of age slice of life romance
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. So then that it did a whole 180 like mid like thought process. And then so then that's when I came up with Mira, Felix, Noah for the story. And then so
Mm-hmm.
those are like the current existing characters. And then my brother's just gonna exist as his own little character in
I
like
love
the
that.
art. But those that one story where Ava originally was like this badass blade wielding like character, I still want to revisit that idea, and Maddie will be a character in that one. I'm gonna
Oh,
make him like
that's nice.
really
Yeah.
cool.
I
Yeah.
think that works for him for some reason.
Yeah, I was like that. I was like that. I can
That's
really like do
you.
something really cool with.
Yeah. Oh
But
my
yeah, that and
gosh.
that's how like and so it's like as I after I'm done with I guess I'll just say the name of the story, Dreams We Carried. Once I'm
Mm-hmm.
done telling that whole story, I already have like concepts of other stories that I eventually want to tell, like that I
Yeah.
just put in my notepad. So that'll create more unique original characters within the world of Somna City that I'll eventually have art done, they'll become to life, and maybe I'll like add them into the scenes in the future or something of that sort.
Wild. Crazy. But I'm so excited. I've seen some of the artwork behind the scenes, not to tease it, but like
Not to tease.
it's gonna be great, and y'all, I swear, y'all will be so excited to see it. Yeah, I think what you're doing has like never been done before. At least like I've never seen anything like that, especially to the scale of what you're doing, which is
Yeah, so I'm
exciting.
trying really hard to stand out and just like not look like
Oh
like
yeah.
I'm just trying to like stand out and just yeah, stand out. I don't know what else I'm trying to elaborate on.
No, like I think if you have it and it's a creative part of you and you're already creating, it's like you got to get used to. It's almost like a muscle. You have to like keep flexing. Cuz
Yeah.
if you don't continue to make what differentiates you a positive thing, like you'll constantly be like, "No, I have to do it the same as everyone else," you know? And maybe you
Yeah,
already
and
dealt
that's what
with
I was
that.
stuck in for the longest. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. I was like, maybe you were already
Like
there. Because I know I've been there too. So it's like,
yeah, especially with just a lot of what's there now, it's like super KH pilled, and I was just like I need to
yeah.
I was like I love Kingdom Hearts, but I was like I need to
Yeah.
step away from that realm and
No,
just make it.
I agree with you. So, with the amount of time that you've put into creating this world and coming back into the streaming realm after some time away, and how much you've done YouTube in the past, and even you post actively on YouTube pretty consistently. Like, is content creation your full time job?
No. You'd be surprised it's not.
Oh my gosh. Would you like for it to be your full time job?
Yes and no. Like I think in the at first, like I did want it to be like a full-time
Totally.
job for sure, because it was like I really just like knew that I could excel with what I do on Twitch and YouTube. But I think
You
now
knew that?
where
Wait, yeah. So why you're saying that? Even way back in the beginning, were you always just confident about like I'm gonna put this on YouTube, it's gonna sell like hotcakes, like it'll be fine.
oh no, like so because it's like I struggle like hella bad with imposter syndrome. So it's like
Yeah.
I knew like I guess deep down where like that part of me that like just that has like that confidence where it's like you can do this.
Hmm.
Like I think like I knew like if I put the time and the effort into this stuff, I was like I think like I have a shot at excelling with this. But I don't know how many times I like had gone through and re-edited a video or cut parts out
Mm.
before even like uploading it. Sometimes I would upload it, watch the whole thing, like, nah, I hate this. Would take it down, redo it all over again.
I understand that
But
feeling completely.
yeah, but with what I've been doing lately,
Hmm.
and I'm surprised that it's been doing well. And it's one of those things where like because I've seen a consistency in like how well it does, in my head I go, okay, I found my niche with how I know how to do this.
Mm.
Because with a lot of different creators on YouTube, which I'm like, this is also like I like both ways, but like some content creators will still do like the more short form content where it's like 15 minutes to 30-minute
Hmm.
video, and then they'll do a part one and a part two. With how I've been doing it with Xenoblade and now with Claire Obscure, is I'll condense the like 24 to like 30 hours that I'm putting into like each and every single thing where like I'll condense chapter 1 into like a big bite-sized like video, chapter 2 into like a condensed version where it's like it has a little bit of like important gameplay, but it's mainly just like straight to the point. Like if there's conversations within the cutscenes that it's just fluff, it does not need to be there, I cut it out and I try to make it as smooth as possible. And I noticed that it works well, and I've been noticing a lot of other creators are now do that. So I was like, okay, I was like, this is definitely like what I know I can do, and it's doing really, really well. And so it's like now it's like with that I feel a bit more confident, especially with like TikTok. I'm still like, I don't know what I'm doing,
man. Your TikToks are going
nuts. But it seems to be working, because I was like, well, because like there were certain parts where I'm editing my Claire Obscure videos and I'm like, I feel like people would like the reactions to these things. So I was like, I know if I was and that's what I'm trying to go as well. Like when I'm watching my edited VODs back, or like the condensed versions, or I'm editing like a TikTok, I'm like, if I wouldn't watch this, I'm not gonna upload it. Because I'm like, if you're just editing something together and you're just like, I hope it does well, more, and you're like, I don't, and it's like, I hate listening to my own voice, but like that's how I also know that like I know how to like what I can improve on. Like I go back through my own VODs, and if there's any parts of like silence or things that are where I'm just like, I can do better here, or like I try to find ways to improve through watching my own stuff back. Because I'm like, if I wouldn't watch me, who was gonna want to watch me? So it's like I'm trying to like find that like I don't like hearing myself back, but like how can I improve to where like I would watch my own content kind of thing. So that's what I started doing with the videos on TikTok. So it was like I uploaded like I think it was like 2 different boss battles where it's like the music was just like, what the heck is this? But it was like insane. One of them did good. The newest one, holy shit. Like I can't even go on TikTok. Like even to this day, I go on, there's like comments like crazy, follows like crazy. Like I was at like I think 800 followers. Like last week, I think I uploaded like last week, I had like 800 followers on TikTok. I think I'm close to 1,200 now. I'm like, it's crazy. But now it's bumping the rest of my TikTok videos up. And I'm like, what's going on?
You're like, am I TikTok famous now?
I was like, this is wild. So in my head, I'm like, okay, I need to hurry and get these other, because I'm currently editing Act 3 for Claire Obscure. So I'm now trying to find moments where I'm like, okay, will this do well? Or I'm like, is this, would I watch this? Is this reaction worthy?
Right.
So I'm like, okay, how do I keep up the pace of this? That's the difficult thing too, where it becomes stressful, is trying to keep that consistency of posting frequently. Because the algorithm loves consistency, and if you stop going, it's like,
especially TikTok. I've heard that if it will punish you, be like, why have you taken a few days? Like, oh my God.
With me, for me it was like a whole 3 years. I was like, man, my videos are tanking, and now it's like getting back into that rhythm.
Interesting. I wouldn't have thought about it with all those years, but oh my goodness. But it seems like, holy shit, you very much almost do content creating as like a second full-time job.
Basically, it's crazy.
Right.
It's wild, because it's like Thursday through Sundays when I normally stream, and then Saturday, and then then it's like late, like after stream on Saturday and Fridays, is usually when I dive into like, because I'm it's weird. It's like I'll have a specific kind of battery for stream, and then I end, and it's weird because it's like I sometimes just wish I worked from home, or I didn't have such an early morning job, but it allows me to do what I do, so it's like I can't complain.
No,
but I'm very, very creatively like driven at night, so
crazy.
So it's like after stream on Fridays and Saturdays is when I dive into like, okay, I'm winded down, I've gotten to some comfy clothes, then I'll start thinking like, okay, am I in the mood to brainstorm for more of my writing for my story that I'm writing, or do I just want to take it easy and watch anime? So that's kind of like my little break days. And then Sundays I stream, and then afterwards I have dinner, get ready for bed, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday I usually dedicate to editing.
Right. My goodness.
How I balance it, I don't know.
That was my next question. You're like, look, let me just get ahead of you here. I had to gather myself before.
Nah, because it's like, I think with my brain, just like It's oh my god, this is the weird thing too, right? I gotta
Okay,
go.
yeah, no. I
This
hear
is
you.
the
Knee up.
strangest thing. This is the strangest thing because it was like I never knew what the feeling of boredom was ever. When people said I'm bored, I was always like, "What the hell does that mean?"
My mom, when I would say
And
that when I was younger, she'd be like, "Go clean something." I'd be like, "The fuck?"
go clean something. You're like,
No,
"That's not gonna make me bored."
no.
And it was weird because it was like my brain, I'm so used to it constantly just being active with thoughts.
Yeah.
But going back to the whole therapy thing, it
Mhm.
was like since I've done so much self-healing and I've gone through a lot of stuff, there would be times where
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, there was times where I would be sitting right here like this,
Mhm.
and I would not have a thought in my mind, and because my brain's not overthinking for
Mhm.
once, I would
Mhm.
sit here and I'm just like, "What's wrong? Like, something is wrong."
Because
And
it's
I couldn't
not
figure it out.
your normal. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and so I would sit here and I'm just like, "What the hell do I do?" Like, I
Yeah.
was like, "I don't know if I should game." Like, I was so confused. Had the next month had the talk with my therapist, told her what was going on, and she kinda chuckled, and I go, "Oh, this is gonna be good." And she goes, "Xander, that's what we call boredom." And I was like, "No shot." I
You're like,
was like,
"That's what
"That's."
that is?"
I was like, "That's what." I looked at her and I go, "I hate that feeling." And
Well, yeah.
and and because she knows how my brain works, and because you exposed me in the car in front of Suni and George, where you're like, "Oh yeah, he has to give himself side quests." My therapist knows how my
Wait,
brain
you
works.
were telling people that publicly. It wasn't a secret.
Well, well, because I was about to say what my therapist told me to do, which is where I
Oh.
got the whole idea of
Okay,
side
okay,
quests. I was
go,
like,
go,
"You
go,
just
go.
put it out loud." But she was so because she knows
My
how my
bad.
brain works. She was like, she was like, in those moments when you're like, you don't know what to think, like your brain's, she's like, think of that as a moment of peace. She's like, because at once your brain's not overthinking, you are
Mhm.
at ease, you don't have any worries. Like she's like, one, think of that as like a moment of peace. And she's like, and two, this is where the side quests came in. She goes, give yourself little side quests. She's like, think of
Mm.
like, do I want to watch anime? If you start an episode and you're bored after if you're bored after an episode or you can't get through one, try doing video games. She's like, try to like
Ah.
teach your brain to like do something in those moments.
Yeah, I call
And
it giving your
at
brain a pacifier so that you can just like keep going. Do you know what I mean though? It's like you have to give your
yeah,
brain something to do and to like figure out while the rest like your subconscious brain just like chills the fuck out. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's wild because it was not too long
Mhm.
after that conversation that we had was when my brain started is when we had the creative writing talk. And so
Ah.
in those moments is when my brain was like creative writing, something new. Like my brain was like, I don't want to do something that I already know. I want to do something new.
Yeah.
So then that's when that all came in. So it's like now because like my brain just like it thrives on just doing something. Like I don't like doing
Right.
nothing.
Have y'all
And so like
talked?
that's why like
Go ahead. Sorry.
oh no. So like that's why like I'm constantly like always doing something where it's
Mhm.
like if I'm not streaming, I'm editing. If I'm not editing, I'm brainstorming writing. Or if I'm just too mentally exhausted to do something, I'm watching anime. Like my brain has to be occupied. It just can't not do something. Like nothing.
Yeah, I'm like,
It's
do you relax? Like, like
it's
is
weird.
your relaxing, not doing, just being? Does that make sense?
If I'm
Like
not
if you're
just like
not like
relaxing, not
actively doing something, actively working on something, actively playing a game, watching a movie, like, is there like a version of you that just like sits and like, you know,
yeah,
like jacuzzi in a like brain moment?
yeah, I like to go downstairs, like, in those moments where I'm kinda just like, I don't know what I wanna do, where, like, my brain's kind of like, I know there's many things, but, like, I kinda just want to exist.
Right.
I can't be in front of something like this where my brain is, like where it's
Oh
trying to
yeah.
think, so in
I
those
feel like this
in
is the
those moments
workstation.
yeah, so it's like
Yeah.
in those moments, I'll go downstairs into our patio
Hmm.
where, like,
Oh,
there's the
cute. Yeah.
pond. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'll just sit out there and I'll stargaze.
Oh, that's cute. Do you
Yeah,
see
I'll just, like,
stars?
stargaze. Yeah.
Really? I was gonna say I don't think
Sometimes.
I don't think with the light pollution.
No, like, I haven't done it in I mean, because of the weather and how hot
Oh
it
my
is, I used to
god,
just stay
right.
I stay cooped up in here where there's fans and cool air, but, like,
AC
during, like, the
now.
winter yeah, during the winter and stuff, it's like I'll look up and like
Oh, that's
I'll just like
sweet.
stargaze and I'll just like look up and I'll have like some really relaxing lo-fi to just keep that part of the brain occupied while it's just like
Yeah,
just doing what it
yeah.
needs to do.
So I feel like this is a silly question, but like, what motivates you to keep creating?
Oh my God. I don't know.
You're like,
Like
I think it's
that's such a
just
good
bursting. Like,
yeah,
honestly,
like
with the way you describe your ideas, I feel like it's constant fireworks in there, and it's just like idea, 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 idea.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
cuz it's like my my brain like ever since I was a little kid, like I've always and it's like now even having like now being an adult
Mm,
and just thinking back on that and having like your typical 9 to 5 like in
mm,
my brain I'm like sure like this is doing what it needs to do. I have a roof under my head. I've
right.
I can pay my bills,
Mm,
but it's like even as a kid and then now reflecting on those moments as an adult, like I always knew that like it just wasn't what I want to do. Like I want to do something where I can put my full create like I would rather have the stresses and the workload of doing something that I know I'm good at and having and being like my own boss, if that makes sense,
mm,
than to do something for someone else. So it was like kind of like circling back to the like, would you want to do content creation as a full time job? At if I didn't have all these different new aspects and like endeavors, I would say probably yeah, because
yeah,
that's
I
what I
mean, there's
initially
no shame
was.
in saying yes. You know,
Yeah,
like,
but I think now, given where I'm currently at, I want to just do like be in a creative space full time, whether that's
yeah.
whether one thing takes off or if I have in like an accumulative total of the many things that I'm doing, if that
Mm.
like accumulates to where it allows me to and not just be like, oh, I can do this. Like I would rather know that like for sure, like even on a bad
Oh,
month,
yes,
that I can still
yes.
get by comfortably,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm like, all right, I'm going for it. But it's like, yeah, like I would rather have like preferably I would rather have a few different things that I'm
Right.
doing that accumulate to being able to do something and so it's like I would rather be more like in a creative space and just content creation, but if it happened to be that
Right.
I wouldn't be upset, I wouldn't complain.
Yeah, it's almost like whenever I see like celebrities or I guess mostly musicians, like there's so many people behind the scenes that we never get to see because they're not front facing like that, but they are very much
Mhm.
like, the songwriters or the producers or whoever. Like would do you think you would ever get into something like that, like if you put out Somnicity and the original characters and their storylines, if somebody was like came up to you and said, I would like for you to be at the writer's table for this thing, and that happened, like, would you be like, fuck yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah, like, and
yeah,
would that be
I've
fulfilling
had
enough for you if you were like behind the scenes in that way? You know what I mean? Like maybe it's
behind
like
this.
yeah, like a slice of the pie of your content creation. Like you still have streaming, you still have YouTube, but then you also have this other thing. Like, do you feel like
Oh
you'd be
yeah.
satisfied? Yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
sick.
I've had these talks. Yeah, I've had these talks with Dylan where I was like, if if
Right.
out of everything that I'm doing full time, if it was just being a writer and doing
Mm-hmm.
what I just started doing, I was like, I would fucking love that.
Right.
I told him that like a new dream I have
Mm-hmm.
would to have some of this adapted into like an anime. Like that's
Right.
like a dream now that has like spurs from this little thing that I'm doing. I'm not like
Mm-hmm.
it'd be so sick if like Dreams We Carry got adapted. That'd be
Right.
so sick. Cause it's like I already have looks
Yeah.
and a vision for these creators, and it's like, and I can even just be like a creative mind where I'm like I can oversee the project. It's like I know these characters, these are my characters, and then
Yeah.
boom, like that'd be so sick. Yeah, I would like if that was where it came to, I'd be like, oh yeah, shit. Because it's like I can then have this writing aspect where I'm like I can do this most of my days, and then still give myself a little free time to have a stream day or two,
Mm.
do this or that. Like, oh my god, that would be great. And it's like me, what 15 years ago would have never thought like I'd
Yeah.
want to do creative writing. I told my teachers, nah, nah.
Nah,
But
pass.
now I'm like, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
That'd be so
He said,
cool.
I'm just trying to try out these hot peppers on YouTube. You know what I mean? I'll pass on that nerd shit right for now.
Hold that phone.
Oh my god. Well, I hope that works out because I feel like it is so you like I feel like it's new to you as of like
Yeah.
I don't know since like this year last year, but it is so you as a concept. I feel like as you keep discovering yourself and finding like different avenues of how to create and things like that. So
Mhm.
I really do hope that that works out for you. But I'm
Thank you.
gonna like switch it more towards like you per se, and not so
Okay.
much in the creative sense, but I guess maybe like self care sense. Um, how do you balance your life online and offline since you're doing like hardcore weekend hours? You're doing a full time job and then full time content creation on like part two on the side. How do you balance that?
God, I don't even know. Like when I'm not doing any of this, like I have like I'm very good now at if my body's like, hey, like I know you normally like to do stuff these days, but we need to just
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel bad anymore for being like, I'm gonna take a day for myself or
Mm.
having to reschedule or do something different. And so like with those, I usually will like to do like yoga or um it sounds cheesy, but like I'll even like listen to some like positive affirmations, like
Dude,
things where it's
I
just
love
like
that.
I'm doing a lot of just like inner healing, a lot of like
Yeah.
self-care. Um yeah, like and as of late I've been wanting to do something that I used to do. Where it was more of a just like I need to get out a little bit. I need to kind of just have a new scene, like a change of scenery.
Mm.
And I've been like doing a bit of research on like some local cafes or just cafes a bit
I
far
love
out because it's like I
that.
would like to maybe just like take like my laptop with me because it's like I write my story on Google Docs, so it's like I can access it
Mm.
on my phone, I can access it
Yeah.
anywhere, and then I just have my little notepad that I have just like to refer to for ideas or things that I want to touch on that I maybe haven't touched on yet, anything of that sort. And so it's like I would like to just like take it to like a cafe and just enjoy a new different type of scenery or do what I remember I had told you this when we were hanging out this past like the past weekend or two where like I want to like go to the beach again and just like enjoy nature and
Yes.
I want to go back to doing that because like that was so like that was like my biggest like self care kind of thing was just taking a
Mm.
trip to the beach enjoying just nature or just driving along the coast at night. Like I miss doing that so much.
It's
Like that
so
was so
therapeutic.
healing
There's
for me.
something about the ocean,
Hmm.
dude. I don't know what it is, but there
Yeah,
is. I remember sitting there and being like, yo, this is missing from my life right now.
yeah,
And then I think you were like, yeah, I think me too.
yeah. Because like I hadn't been like that was like the first time I had been there in a
In
little
so
over 3 years. So
long.
I was just like sitting there and I was just like, God damn, I miss this.
Yeah.
Like I miss just coming to the beach and just like
Mm.
existing.
Yeah. And I think
But
like when we went was like the perfect time because there was just really no one there. So it was really just like I don't know, just like this huge little bubble that we were in. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do you ever feel like your battery is run out by the end of the week? You're like, damn, I did four streams. I'm
oh
working.
yeah.
I come home. I have like people at home too to like, talk to at least. I don't think that they're demanding anything from you, but like still.
That's the one thing I love about my having my brother and one of
Mm-hmm.
my best friends as a roommate is we are so good at reading each other
Mm-hmm.
where like if we can tell in just like the tone of our voice when we answer not like a like
Mm,
I'm
yeah,
giving
yeah,
you
yeah.
attitude but it's like if I can tell his voice is not the normal and he's talking in like the most kind of like
Right.
he's using up as much of his battery as he can. We are so good at being like, all right, they need to just have like a hey, good to see you. How was your day? And then I'll just
Right.
let them just do what they need to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'm glad I don't have to like come home and have because it's like with living with parents, it was just like I don't want to talk right now, and then they would budge. It
Yeah.
was like a challenge,
Right.
like no, tell. And so it's like I
Yeah. I
can
know.
just
I
come
know.
home.
I get that.
Like there's times where like Maddie will come home and like he does a lot of hard work. And
Mm-hmm.
he'll come home and I'm just like, "Hey bud, how was work?" He's like, "It was work." I'm like, "Okay, I need to let him. He needs." I'm like that's my cue of like he just wants to come home. He doesn't want to talk to no one.
Right.
So it's like we're really good at reading each other with that. But um yeah, sometimes like yeah, and I think it's the times where like my battery runs out where that's where I'm just like if I need to like cancel a stream or if I need to
Mm.
just not edit for like it because it's like editing I don't like have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's just like I know that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are the days that I can
Mm.
where because like after stream the last thing I want to do is edit.
Oh,
That
I
it's like
feel
I don't want to
that.
put like I because it's like with writing I can kind of just like go at my own pace. It's
Right.
very and sometimes like I'll just like I'll have it popped up on like my monitor here and when I'm ready to go back to it, I'll switch back. But sometimes
Mm-hmm.
if I'm like, my brain's not working right now, I'll just throw on anime.
Yeah.
Like anime, I guess, is like my downtime because it's like I can turn my brain off, and it's like I watch a lot of with Maddie, I'll watch a lot of like the shonen, the actiony, the horror
Yeah.
animes. But with by my own self, I can
Mm-hmm.
turn my brain off to slice of life and just like just sit here and exist. Like especially when I go to bed, like I usually like save an hour before I go to bed. And that's like my time to either read manga or
Mm.
and like that's some I guess like of my downtime for myself
Yeah.
or like I'll just lay in bed and I'll just watch anime for like a good hour and then I'm out.
Yeah. My gosh. My one of my questions I forgot. When do you sleep?
I go to it's bizarre. So Sunday through Thursday,
Uh-huh.
because I work Monday through Friday, I'll go
Mm-hmm.
to bed between Sunday through Thursday, I'll go to bed. Like I'm laying in bed to just like let my body relax at 8 o'clock. I'm usually out by nine
I
thirty.
knew it.
I'm up at 4:20
Oh my
for work
god,
because
Blaze.
I work at I because I need stupid.
Sorry. Right.
I can't believe you. Oh my god. Oh. Because I can't even speak. So yeah, my ass. I'll be up around 4 for work. I work at 5 in the morning, and I'm off work at 1:30. And then Friday, I'm like, well, this is my weekend. This is the start to my weekend. I ain't going to fucking bed at
Yeah,
9:30,
yeah.
even though I've been up since 4. I'll be up for almost 24 hours. Like I don't go to bed till like 2, 3 a.m. on a Friday.
Oh
Because in
my
my head, I go,
god.
I can't waste my
No,
weekend.
no, I hear you because there's certain times where it's like, no, I'm gonna claim this time now. I don't owe it to anybody else or something. So you're like, I'm gonna stay up all night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's usually where just like the writing the like especially for like Fridays I feel like the days that I really get like a lot of the creative writing aspect stuff done because like
Yeah.
my brain will be like we're locking into like 3 a.m. unless like and
That's
sometimes it's a
insane.
curse because sometimes I will literally be at my desk like this and I'll just wake up with my face almost deep into my keyboard
Oh my god.
or like my neck, I'll just be completely like out like this on the pillow, and
Yeah.
Maddie or Daniel will be like, "Hey Zan, wake up, dude, you fell
It's
asleep."
time. Yeah.
It's time, and I wake up and I'm
It's
like,
time to go to bed.
"Okay,"
Okay.
and I just get up, I tell my device to turn off my lights, and then I just
What's
flop
her
into
name?
bed. Alexa, she'll listen to me. Cancel. She heard that. Cancel.
Alexa, where am I?
No.
I
Oh my
know.
god. She's like, you are in.
I'm a troll. Oh my god. I had
Yeah,
already.
I do that same thing on Fridays and Saturdays. Sorry, I do that
Okay,
same thing
no,
on
yeah.
Fridays and Saturdays,
I just can't get
and
my
then
lighting together. If people are like, "What the fuck is going on with her camera?" It's me. I'm trying my hardest.
yeah, and then Sundays it's just back to the usual. I'm just like, eh.
Yeah. No, I feel you there. I had kind of asked you this before, and I don't. They could be like everybody you had already mentioned, but do you have any inspirations or creators that you look up to in this space? Maybe more nowadays or over the past few years, rather than like back in 2015. You know.
Honestly, like I don't know. Nowadays, I'm not too sure because
Hmm.
I just like to enjoy
Right.
a lot of people, and it's like I guess like I'll be inspired where it's more of a just like I like their mindset or like their ethic towards things and like how they go about it. But beforehand, there was two particular people. It was Jen McAllister and Sarah Key.
Wow.
Those are like the two creators that like I was like I really looked up to and like because like Jen McAllister is like what got me to want to create content. I was just like I can't do the vlog stuff.
Yeah.
But then it was watching Sarah Key doing Kingdom Hearts content. I'm like, oh, people like watching Kingdom Hearts
Hmm.
content. So like my first few videos on YouTube was me just doing a replay of Kingdom Hearts 1.
Oh. Yeah.
And so that's where like where that started. And and I still watch Saraki now, especially because she streams on Twitch. So it's like I
Oh
still
yeah.
like watch Saraki, but it's like in terms of like I guess where like I draw inspiration or like look up to, I think I just like have just like a deep appreciation for like a lot of people in this space. I don't know if it's more of like a looking.
Yeah, yeah.
I just like appreciate a lot of people
Yeah.
and just like how they like hold things down or just like their morals
Mhm.
and how they like ground themselves.
Yeah. So, speaking of, do you have any friends from the Twitch or YouTube space, maybe even TikTok space, that you've made friends with? And if so, have you ever met them?
Yeah, that's the crazy thing too is kind of going back as well like we mentioned earlier. Before Twitch, like I didn't have any friends outside of my roommate, really. And then so it's like everyone that I know now, like I've grown like a really good connection with. Some of them are besties, you know, and I've met quite a few of them. So it's like there's you, Andy, made a new friend, George, and then Suni
Yeah.
just recently met.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of other people at Reconnect, like Elise, there's a handful of
I
people, but yeah,
know.
some of
So many.
like there's like a good group of people who are like who are just like some of my closest friends now, which is crazy because I never would have thought that I'd have like that kind of connection with people online.
Right. So, what is it like to go from, being in high school, being like, I feel like I call high school or like most of the friends from back then like proximity friends because normally you were just friends with them because you had a few classes with them and you saw them every day.
Yeah,
And then once you
yeah,
like switch grades, go to the next grade and they're not in your class anymore, you usually kind of fall out. But unless you're like better friends than that. But even leaving the high school space and then them kind of not sticking around, and then meeting people online, like what's it like to meet people, become friends, and then meet in person, and you're like, is this real? You know?
it's a bizarre feeling because it was like kind of like cause like I can barely remember it in school because like so like it just felt so natural because it was just like oh we share it's almost kind of like having a job where it's like
Yeah.
we connect well and we associate well because we're
Right.
suffering together at the same
Yes.
job. But it's like once you leave that space, unless you actually made good friends with them, you don't. It's like you forget y'all exist. Like
Exactly.
they're just a just a fart in the wind. Like they're just not there
Yeah.
anymore. They're just not there. So it was like when I first started like meeting people through Twitch. Before it was, and again it was like it all goes back to 3 years ago, which is crazy. It was like at that time I was just like, oh, these are really cool people, and I thought of it, thought of it the same way, where it was just like, oh, we're in the same space, so of course we like the same video games, we're gonna connect, but that's all it is.
Right.
And then there was like getting close with people these past 3 years, and then it got to meeting them, and at first, and I think maybe a little bit still because I was a bit nervous
Mm-hmm.
when not like to hang out with you and see you again, but it was to like meet Uni and to meet someone new.
Mm-hmm. No, I
Where
remember
it
you
was
saying that. I
like
was like, it's fine. Show up.
I was like I'm nervous. Oh, and Dylan too, because Dylan
Yeah.
was also there. I was
Yeah.
I was like new people are there. I'm nervous. I
Oh
was
my
like I know what they
gosh.
are, but I'm nervous.
Yeah.
But it's like at first it's like nerve wracking, but then it's like when you meet them, it's just like oh I literally it's like you're the same person online. It's just we've met face to face,
Mm.
and it's really cool because it's like for once I don't have this like second guessing of like are these people my actual friends or are they just some sort of potential gain. And I feel like I've been able to really gauge that
Mm.
well now unlike before. So it's really wild but eye-opening to like go from having this constant second guessing and doubt to now being super confident that like I have a solid group, a bulletproof support system and
Mm-hmm.
group of friends where like I don't question like their like where I stand in their life. And and it's allowed me as well, and it's like to this day I'm still like learning to just be more of my authentic self where like because it's like I mentioned before, was like when like y'all like the version of me y'all see like on Twitch and stuff like that. I'm literally like that IRL, but
It's
I'm just a
true.
bit more unfiltered off screen because I'm like, well, I live with my brother, my roommate. They grew up with me, so it's like I act
Yeah.
a bit more unhinged. But I was talking with my roommate yesterday, and it was funny bringing this up because he was like you need to be more your authentic self. He's like not like you're not. He's but like he's like the version that you and Matt are when we're out and about and it's just us three, he's like, people love that side of you
Yeah,
guys.
no, I know what they're
People
talking
like,
about though.
huh?
I said I know what he's talking about though.
Yeah, and he was like, he's like, you need to show people more of that side of you. He's like, you guys are fucking funny. He's like, you guys are
Yeah.
really funny.
I think it's starting to come out more though.
Yeah, you were really seeing a fraction of it when we were at Universal. I was just like,
man.
I wanted to be a big nerd, but I was just like, you saw like my hands holding together, antsiness, and I was just bright faced looking at everything. I was like, man. I even like had a little freak out burst when you were like, oh yeah, Psycho, where they did Norman Bates or Bates Motel is on the chat, and I was like, I almost had a whole geek out moment.
Yeah.
I like lit up, and I was like, Xander, calm down.
You didn't have to though. We were all there for you.
Yeah, but in my brain was like, tame it down a bit.
It's okay. It's like you know, like it's the repetition thing where it's like the more you're in those scenarios and you get to like, you know, maybe it's a little bit at a time, but you're like learning, you're rewriting, you know, that feeling or that belief. So
yeah, I'm even starting to do it like on Twitch as well. Like
I've seen it. I like that though because it's you know.
Because it's like I still like having like, because like a lot of people always describe like we have a blast and fun, but it almost feels like we're hanging out together like in a cozy like in your room with you, like it feel like cozy, I guess, feeling. But there's still like the like we're just having a blast as just
You're
like a group
viewers?
of people together. Viewers, yeah.
No,
Yeah, like a lot of them will echo that. I'm like, all right, cool, because I'm like, I like to like set the vibe of where it's just like we're all just vibing, hanging out, and playing games. So it's like I like having that like cozy but like super fun environment. So it's like sometimes I'm just like, if I get a little too chaotic, am I gonna ruin that? But I'm like, but that's what makes me. Like I'm very unhinged off camera. Like I'm starting to show that more on camera, but off screen, like Matt and I will do and say the most obscure things. And it's starting to slowly bleed in. And I'm just like, people are still here, so hey, it's great.
No, I think the more authentic that you can be to your true self, people will see it and will gravitate towards it. And whoever's not, they can kick rocks, honestly.
Like, yeah, I've very much settled into that mindset of like, if at the end of the day, like if they don't like me for me, then I don't need them. Right. Like I'm far past the point of trying to people please. I'm like, I did that for so long that I lost myself. And I was like, and now I'm this version of me that I thought I lost back literally in middle school. And so it's like, I feel like that young version of me again. So it's like, now I'm doing a lot of stuff that version of me wanted to do. Right. And that in itself has been very like healing to like my inner child and just as a whole.
Right. Yeah, that's a feeling I can't describe to people pleasers. It's just point blank. I can't. Yeah. Like, you gotta go through your own arc. But
I reposted this thing on TikTok the other day, and it was like, if I'm the villain in your story, just tell me. He's like, we gotta build some backstory. I'm not done. We gotta build some backstory. I was like, yep. I was like, just let me know.
Let me know. I'm ready.
I'm like, we can build something here.
Yeah, no, really. Oh my gosh. So to come back to the questions, do you feel like any of your content or your streams have like a mission statement across the board or a why, like something you're offering to people? Whether it be like be your true self or go after your dreams or whatever. Like if you had a mission statement, what would it be?
Yeah, I guess so, because it's like I've always like creating the like community, and I didn't realize I was doing this until I guess I kind of had some self-reflection where I was trying to like create a community of people where like people can authentically, unapologetically be themselves, where they, you know, and we can like have, you know, very civil conversations where like it's okay to not like the same things and have, you know, very civil conversations, all that sort. And because it was like I liked being in those spaces where like I felt like I can be myself. Right. And in doing that, it's like in trying to like create and harvest that kind of community, I ended up finding my own space where I can do that. And that's not only like allowed me to just be more open about myself and just I let my personal life out to like a degree, but I've noticed that me letting that side of myself out has, like, I guess, encouraged other people to chase sort of things that maybe they were too afraid to pursue. And whenever people as well like mention that, like, oh, like, it's crazy that you do like XYZ, because I've always had this, and I'll try to like it's like at the end of the day, it's like I was so scared to do so many of these different things and be myself because of the people that I surrounded myself with. But if I can create a space where people can grow from one another, and they can come to my streams after like a long day and even just feel the slightest bit better, take their mind off things, or I can encourage them, at the end of the day, where maybe they were too scared to pursue something, but seeing just how creatively driven I can be, where like I got over that hurdle and found that courage, and they can too. Like, that makes me happy, and it makes me feel like I'm, doing something that, like, at the end of it, like, that I've been set out to do. Because it's like I want to be that kind of like person that can encourage others and help people just find themselves, I guess. Yeah.
I love that, because as a person who also grew up around people that were like, don't be less of anything, just all of it but less. I totally get that, and maybe that's also why we're really good friends. Actually, we've talked about this before. I'm pretty sure that is why. But also, like, because we have also been through the arc of trying to heal that, which therapy is great, personal healing is great, being yourself is great, don't let people dim your shine, all those things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that. That's probably also why I gravitated even towards you way back in the fucking day. So, I mean,
well, that makes me happy.
Yeah.
Because it was like back then I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but it's like now I feel more concrete on that. So I'm like, it's really cool that I guess setting those seeds back then.
Yeah. I think everybody has like a path that maybe even if you're unaware of it, you're kind of like walking it. And even if there are people who are also kind of walking a similar path, maybe you don't know that verbally or consciously, but you're like, I see myself in you, and vice versa,
Yeah.
And I think that's why, like, initially I kept reaching out. So I was like,
oh yeah, I remember.
I get it.
I remember first I was like, I remember. I think it was yesterday when I mentioned that. I was like, I wasn't sure if I'm like, is she just trying to be nosy? Is she just trying to get some tea, or does she actually care?
No, back then I had no idea there was tea in the space, and then I was like, oh shit.
Oh my god, yeah, I was like, once we like just grew closer, it was like, okay, now there's tea, and it was like, okay, what's going on now?
Right. Oh god. Speaking of tea, what is the best and worst thing about being online in your opinion? The eye roll is crazy.
Like, the best thing, genuinely, for sure, is just like it's connections you can make with people, the things that you can experience through being in this space. So like, there's people who, like myself, who had really cool opportunities to like, I don't know, play games early, or they get invited to events, or something really, really cool. Like, they kind of get to do things that they never thought was possible. But there's like the worst parts of it, and I feel like there's so many things where it's like, being in this online space, it can get really toxic. And it's like, unless you like really are careful of the people you associate with, the spaces you're a part of, because like all of these, oh my god, I cannot tell you how many times like I have to log offline because I'm about to spill just I'm about to piss a lot of people off. And and I feel like I'm becoming one of those. I'm like, okay, I need to tame myself. I need to set myself back a bit.
Not
and I
one
need to
of
go
those.
some grass.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because like, there's been times where I'm just like, I'm about to rip this person a new one. But I was like, Vander, just let them exist. Let them do what they're doing. Go do something else.
You're like anime.
But it's no, it's especially like the gaming space. Like, certain people that just have the most insane takes or things that are going on, and I'm just like, what? But yeah, I feel like it can be like the best thing, but also the worst thing, depending on like what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it's like, at the end of the day, I think it's really important to be able to, I guess, put yourself in check and realize like when you need to step away, or when you need to cut something or someone off, or kind of just ground yourself for sure.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I feel like the gaming space, just purely only about gaming, like, there's just so much like rigidity, just like no room for other opinions at all outside of somebody's own. Everyone's own opinion is fact, and there's nothing else that's going to change it, and there's also no conversations that can come into play. It's just like that, or you're done. And it's crazy. Like,
oh my God.
I think that's one of the things about streaming. Like, you don't think about it when you're like, I'm gonna go online, I'm gonna stream. But once you're there for long enough, these opinions start coming out in your chat.
Yeah.
You're live reacting to them, being like, okay, well, I want to acknowledge you, but what you said was hella lame. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I almost want to be like, no, but
I recently had that.
Oh, really?
To not say too much when I was playing, because I recently beat Claire Obscure.
Oh gosh.
And there's some things, of course, towards the end where I was explaining why I did things I did, my view on specific things, because it's
trying
a very
talk about this without spoiling, and I could
tell. I was like, I need to really just tiptoe on the rocks and not fall in the water. And there was luckily there was a handful of people who were just like, no, like absolutely. But of course, I didn't, because I don't keep my view count on. I keep that shit off. I'm like, and I think that helps me as well. I'm gonna like pickpocket go off topic and go back on topic. I think because of my YouTube background, it's a lot easier for me to just have an always on kind of mindset where like if chat's not being active or there's people just lurking, I can make up for that by just pointing out random stuff or commenting on random stuff. And so it was one of those things where like once I like really dug deep into what was currently on screen and the things that were happening, people were coming out the fucking woodworks. And we're trying to just completely like, no, that's wrong. And it became a whole thing. And Maddie and Dylan had to like really like hammer in. I just started seeing messages really, like,
get lock it down.
They locked in. Because like I saw messages being deleted. Someone tried arguing with Dylan. And Dylan's like, all right, you're out of here.
Oh, Dylan's fuse. This short.
like Dylan I was like, he's being really, really
aggressive.
No, not aggressive. Like at first, I was like, wow, he's being really patient. And then the person said one thing, and then all I saw was the message get just blooped. And then Dylan's like, all right, yeah. He just types that in chat. Yeah, all right, you're gone. I was like, oh god. And then Maddie started pitching it, and I was like, okay, I'm zone. And Dylan almost had to throw it on emote only.
Yeah.
Because people it was just like, no, this is the right decision. That's not the right decision. There's no one way that's, you have to see it this way or that's not the right way. And then after I beat the game, I started, of course, like I'm now consuming content from this game left and right.
Yeah.
And I'm looking in the comments on other people's videos on TikTok. It's a war zone. For that
Andy
people like
that
are
too.
Really
he was like, I didn't think Claire Obscure had a toxic side. And he was like, then I started posting my stuff to TikTok and I found them.
Yeah, that ending it brings out the worst in that fandom. Like there's like luckily like there was some people were like, yeah, this was like it got a little out of hand, but this was probably the calmest chat where like it didn't get. I was like, damn. I was like the fact that it was like that it was getting out of control, but it was also the most tame one. I was like, how wild did it get in other chats? I'm scared. I was like, damn.
Good thing I'm gonna play it on my own.
No, I was like, because I at first I was like, I'm not gonna look at chat because I was like, I don't want someone's other opinion to like stuff, for me to see it influence my decision. So I was like, I'm gonna just say what I gotta say. And then I'll talk to everyone, and then I'll move on. And I look over, I just see messages getting deleted left and right. I was like, what's going on?
Oh, no.
And then it's so funny, too, because on the particular TikTok that's, like, just soaring on my page.
Yeah.
I don't, like, I just barely, and it's weird, I'm in the end game. Like, I'm doing post-game stuff, and I'm barely learning how to, like, properly build my team. But
Sometimes
was putting
it takes a full playthrough of that to like really get it. Like the whole time you're kind of learning, but then by the time you're like finished, you're like, oh, okay. That happened to me with Persona 3. By the time I got to the DLC, I was like, oh, I got this. But then I was like, Oh man, that it's I don't know how to explain it. It almost like forces you to figure it out.
Oh,
Yeah,
fun.
and then I was like, I probably wasn't doing that the best way. You
The
know
best
what I mean?
way.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like now, because like there was a point, I think I got to like Act 1 or Act 2,
Mm-hmm.
excuse me, and someone was like, "Oh yeah, like how much like have you been using your Luminas?" And I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
I had like I had like 400, and these are
Mm-hmm.
the things that you apply to each party
Mm-hmm.
member so you can equip different
Yeah.
skills that
I'd
help
played
you out
like
in battle.
4 or 5 hours of the game, and then that's a whole side story. But
I was like, damn. I was like, I'm playing on normal, and I basically put myself on hard
yeah,
mode.
yeah.
I was like, okay. And so what I started doing was I
So,
built
oh
my
shit.
defense up for one of the
Mm-hmm.
characters,
Mm-hmm.
Mael. I
Mm-hmm.
was building up her defense a whole ton
Mm-hmm.
because that was my main character. So I was like, I want her to like not take the most
Right.
damage. So I was putting my defense on her a ton. And in the TikTok video, when the boss is doing his attacks,
Mm-hmm.
my health is it's going down, but it's not going down a whole lot because
Yeah.
I put the defense on like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And there was like one person who was like, it was like three people, but one of them, people are still commenting to that person being like, just ripping him a new one. And I was like, yeah, that's what you get.
Yeah.
But there was like three people who were like, wow, just seeing you playing on easy mode just ruined this for me. And I was like, what, dude? I was like, first things first, what makes you think I'm playing on easy? I'm
But
playing
yeah,
on
what
normal.
is like the
And that
righteousness with some
person,
of these games? It's like, you're not playing Omega Hard mode, like baby mode. Like, what is that about?
it's
That's crazy.
yeah, I was like, who cares? I was like, why are you letting some? And
Literally, who cares?
and that's like one of the worst parts of of like just the online space. It's
No,
like, who cares
yeah,
how people
yeah.
play a game? Like,
Across
how?
the
Why are you
board,
letting?
yeah, yep. It doesn't even
Yeah,
matter what game, all of them. Like,
like why are you letting someone else's
hmm
play affect how like affect your life and how you go on your day-to-day basis? Like, who cares?
yeah.
But I was like, I responded very sarcastically because I was like, I get a little snappy. Not snappy. I get very like
Kilos.
sassy with these people. I was like, I'm gonna give them a little salt. And I basically was like, I'm playing on normal, the first thing, yada yada.
Learn how
And
to
so I was like,
balance your team.
people on, yeah, normal, yeah, normal people's playthroughs, their health don't go down that low. And I was like, what?
I hate the internet sometimes.
I was like,
Sometimes
oh my
this
god,
part is
man.
cool. uh,
I was, I was like, okay. I was like, I was like, go touch grass, dude.
I know actually, because they're just going around being like finding a video and just all day.
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh my
and and
god.
and and it's like, and you know me for sure, like when I'm gonna play a new game or whatever, like
Yes.
I have a secondary YouTube
Yes.
channel that I go on. I don't consume nothing. I mass mute everything about the game. I'm very, very, very observant of the content I
Mm-hmm.
consume, and I take notes. I will look back on what I played. Like, I get very invested, and I like to theorize. And as someone who has a musical background, because I used to study music in school,
Huh?
and I was in a
Huh.
metal, and I was in yeah, and I was in a metal band
Well, I knew about the
in
band.
school.
Yeah. What the?
Yeah, but yeah, I took music class for a little bit in high school,
Mm.
because I was at one point, one of the things I was like, maybe I might want to pursue this as music. And so
Mm.
I was like, well, let me study some music. And I created some like drum and bass music in the past before
Mm.
I became like on YouTube and stuff. But it's like I have a pretty familiar like idea of like why specific things are layered the way they are,
Right.
why things sound the way they do, especially someone who likes musicals. And music is a big part of my life. There is a part in one of the songs, which is the one I uploaded,
Mm.
where I was like, wait, this is very, very different. And I was like really listening in for a good second. And I went into depth on what I thought it sounded like because of the way that they were singing. I was like, it doesn't sound like they're harmonizing.
Mm.
I was like, it sounds like XYZ.
Mm.
And I went a little bit more into it and just how the like octaves were, all that stuff. I went into a whole spiel, and someone in chat confirmed it and was like, yeah, like that was incredibly like correct. Like, you're very observed, blah blah blah. And I was like, oh snaps. And then I went further into why I thought that was the case. And people are like, "There's no way you figured that out. You watched videos, you watched reactions." I was like, "Okay."
No, I'm
And
just
some people are like,
smart.
"Wow." I've watched a few playthroughs where people cracked codes now. Like I've gone back and I'm watching
Right.
playthroughs now because I finished the game,
Right.
where I'm just like, "Damn, they were really spot on." Um,
Mm.
and it's wild that like now when my video hits that side of the like internet where people are just like, "Nah, he definitely watch something." I was like, I didn't play all this in real time. I was like, there's no pre-recorded in this. I was like, I don't
Right.
consume nothing. I was like, I'm just someone who gets very invested. I take notes. I hyper focus.
Like I
I have
said,
a
playing and
musical. It's
crying. I should have put
playing
and
and crying
analyzing music.
and analyzing music. Well,
Right.
that's the thing that's like I don't really analyze it the way I did with Claire
Yeah.
Obscure. Like usually my ears will just hyper focus on the music and I'm just like, wow, that's beautiful. But with Claire Obscure, it's so unique. Like
Yeah.
it's so unique. And it was like especially the way that they went in the direction of how they executed the like delivery for this particular song. My brain was like, wow, I need to think. I need to really take
Yeah.
this in. And and it's like now because all the songs are also like the ones that sing they're in French.
Mhm.
And so I looked at the like translations
Mhm.
for the songs now, and especially for that particular one, I go, damn, that's crazy how spot on I was.
Yeah.
And so it's wild that people
Well,
are
it's
like,
like
oh, it's you what?
tone too, right? You're like, if it's not in a language you understand, you're like, let me try to read tone or like delivery.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
exactly that, and it was just like, yeah, again, it was the way that it was delivered, the way that like the octaves were like, the voices were like, it wasn't a
Ever so
harmonizing, it was
slightly, yeah.
like higher than the other. And I was like, okay, I was like, I'm gonna try to dissect this. And I didn't say, oh, this is it. I was like, this is what it sounds like.
Mhm.
And someone confirmed it. And I was like, okay, this is why I thought that. Then it was like, oh no, he watched a playthrough. This is blah blah. I was like, okay.
The internet,
I was
man.
like, because I was like, I'm totally, this reaction is so unauthentic. I was like, okay.
Whatever.
But it was only
Oh,
like
the
two,
internet.
3 people who had that kind of comment. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm like, just to be a little party pooper.
Right. We can't ever have anything good.
Yeah.
So we talked about other people. I'm going to bring it back to you. What do you think is your biggest self critique, whether that's in content creation or offline IRL?
I think it's like as a whole because it bleeds into everything I do. Is just I'm very I think it comes with the imposter syndrome. I'm very it's like the self sabotage and just like the self doubt where I will overthink things that I do and I start to think it's so hard that it becomes reality in my brain when it's not,
Mm-hmm.
and it starts to bleed into the things that I do, and it makes me think that like I'm not good enough or that I'm just making things up along the way and that this is not who I am kind of thing. So it's a lot of just like just a lot of self like criticism where it's like self-doubt, self-sabotage
Mm.
where that's something that I'm like working on and trying to get better at. And I feel like especially now compared to like me like even last year, like I've
Mm.
gotten a whole lot better at that. And it was really like heavy when it came to content creation. And I think now since I'm in this mindset of like I'm not trying to actively pursue this one particular thing,
Right.
and I'm having it where I'm like I have one game I'm playing where I'm like this is like the main game, and then my secondary game is like whatever I want to play, and
Mm-hmm.
if I'm having fun and because it's like and it's like, especially doing that I've noticed a big difference. And it's like sure maybe I'm not numbers wise where I thought I would be yada yada, but I'm like I'm slowly but surely growing. It's a process. Not everyone's path is linear. It's all very
Right.
very different. But it's like when I stopped focusing on the numbers, when I stopped focusing on just every little aspect, and I was like, just enjoy the journey, do everything else, and just enjoy the ride. It's really helped a lot of that like self criticism. I think the like self doubt where that comes in is like, for example, when I was playing like Xenoblade, for example, that was like the most active my chat had ever been, the most like concurrent, like high
Yeah.
viewers that I had ever have. And I only knew how high my numbers whenever you read out, that's when it shows. And
Mm.
now there was times where I was genuinely like, I was like, that many people are chilling here. And when I started playing something different, I noticed like an immense difference. And I know like, and I'm like that where like sometimes I'm there for a game, and if they play something else, and it's like, unless I'm like it's like a friend, I might not be a fan of the game, but like that's my friend and I'm just gonna hang out and vibe. Like I don't yada
Mm.
yada. But if it's someone that I don't really know and I'm just a big lurker,
Mm.
um, and I'm just like there watching the playthrough, like sometimes if they're playing something that like I'm not a fan of, yada yada, like I'll still follow just in case they play something in the future that like I'm
Right.
digging, and I'll hop in. But sometimes I'm kind of just there for that one game or that series.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like I know that there's people that do that, and that's completely fine. But there was times where like when I would play other games and I would notice a complete 180, where in my head I started doubting myself, where I'm just like, were they just there for the game and the reactions, and I just don't have anything myself to provide, or yada
Mm-hmm.
yada. So like it made me get into my head so much,
I
but
think it
it's like I'm
almost
trying
forces you to
so
whenever
much
you
now.
see like the number go quite high, and then it fluctuates regardless, but it
Yeah,
does fuck with you. I think seeing the number, even during stream or after, I feel like regardless, even if it was YouTube, you would think the same thing. Like, what did I do wrong this time? What did I get right
yeah,
with this video that I didn't get right with this? Maybe it has to be longer. Maybe it has to be shorter. Maybe I should do both. Like, I feel
that
like,
happened with Xenoblade 2 because I uploaded
yeah.
Xenoblade 1, and that like it soared, and then the first
Oh.
two chapters of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was, I was like, sick, hell yeah.
Mm.
And then I think because with YouTube I got very like, I hit that like little that imposter syndrome,
Mm.
and I didn't upload for like a month, and then I
Mm.
started uploading again, and it was like split in half and then some.
Mm.
And I was like, well, maybe if I get consistent again, it'll fix itself. YouTube will see that I'm yada yada.
Yeah.
And it didn't. And I was like, shoot, man. I was like, maybe like videos aren't entertaining as I thought they were. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. I started uploading Claire Obscure, and I was like, and I
Insane.
noticed as well. I know Xenoblade 2, amongst like, from what I've seen online,
Yeah,
it's like the ugly
I've
duckling
heard that.
for people.
Hmm.
Um, and so it's like I've noticed it kind of around as well, where I've noticed other people's, and I'm just like, okay, I'm like, maybe it's not just me. I'm like, maybe me not uploading kind of messed up that rhythm, because it was a consistent,
Hmm.
but it was one of those things where like when I noticed my Xenoblade 2 performing as well as everything else before it was, I was kind of like, is it me? Is it the video? Did I
Yeah,
not edit it right? Did
it's
I
probably
not do
just the
something
game. It has
here, there?
nothing to do with you at all.
Yeah,
you know? Yeah, but
yeah,
it does get into your brain like that, especially like as a person who's also like an overthinker. I would be in the same boat as you. I'd be
yeah.
like, well, what
It,
did I do
it
wrong?
sucks.
Yeah, it does suck because it's like, I mean, that's its own whole conversation, but it's just like, I'm the type of person that goes into every single avenue of like, well, it could be this, it could be this. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's exhausting, but also like,
Hmm.
I don't really know another way to operate. So it's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And I think it's like, it will definitely, stifle you in your tracks if you like let it. But sometimes I
Mhm.
have to stop myself and just be like, do the thing, whatever that thing is,
Yeah.
just do it.
It took me a
um,
bit for the secondary game, because like the secondary
yeah.
stuff, it's I've just been playing things that like I want to. Like I started
Hmm.
playing Zenless Zone Zero. That's like that was like my offline little like turn my brain off game, and I was like, I kind of, it's like I wanted to catch up story wise. I
Hmm.
was still in chapter 1, and now I'm completely caught up. So like I'm just waiting for the story updates to come out, and
Yeah.
then I'll stream them live. But it's like I've gotten a few people onto playing Zenless Zone Zero
Exactly.
from me streaming it. I've made friends that I've like, yeah, like I've made like friends that I didn't even realize played Zenless Zone Zero, and they're always there now. And then it's we now just like, oh, did you get this character?
Hmm.
Or like we'll just chat about like the lore and stuff. And then it's like now I'm like seeing other people that I follow that are starting to like stream other gotchas, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, it's really it's been really cool. So it's like it's one of those things where I'm just like, ah, these are like my have fun, turn the
You're
brain
right.
off days.
Yeah. And I think like, there's something to be said about doing it. I'm saying stream, or I guess if you do YouTube, the same thing. Like, you don't have to always be catching the wave of like what's new, what's hot, what's like everybody watching. Like, you should also find a way to infuse yourself and the other things that you do, or
Yeah.
enjoy, like, into whatever you're making, because, like, yeah, everyone's gonna catch the wave of, like, whatever's popular at the moment, but you should still find a way with anything you do to, like, infuse yourself, your ideas, your personality, your whatever, your spin on it, because that's
Yeah.
your selling point.
Hmm.
So anyway,
Yeah, I
um
for me, I was reaching burnout so much by trying to keep up with like the latest
yeah,
thing all the time. And I
yeah,
remember when Claire Obscure had came out, I was like, at first I wanted to play it day one, but then it got to a point where I was like, I want to wait till I feel ready, not because
right,
it's the latest thing out. And I
yeah,
think I started it maybe like a month and a half into it being
mm-hmm,
released, because that's when I was like, I want to play this like
mm-hmm,
now. So I let myself get caught up with Zone Zero because that's what I was playing beforehand, and then jumped right into Expedition 33, and I had the best time with it. So it's like, unless it's a game where I'm just like, no, 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 I have to play this day one.
right,
Like if it's a new Final Fantasy, a new Kingdom Hearts, Xenoblade,
yeah,
like I'll that's a day one for me. But if it's
yeah,
something where I'm just like, like I'm anticipating this, but if I'm not feeling it the day of it, or like leading up to release, like I'm gonna wait till like I want to play it,
right,
and that's done so
yeah.
much, big a difference.
That's how I felt with Rebirth, and the reason I really put it off is because Persona 3 Reload came out, and I was more interested in that. But also, a lot of people had said, like, well, I want to play it myself first, and then I can hang out
Yeah.
while you play. And there's something to be said about that. Like, it's great, but it also puts you in this weird position where you're like, I feel like I'm not experiencing it with everybody else. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's that FOMO.
Yeah, and you're like, I want
And then you gotta dodge
to.
spoilers on top of it.
Literally.
Like the amount of things I almost got spoiled on with Claire Obscure because it was like a month later and it
Mhm.
was starting to few people weren't putting spoiler tags and I was like,
Right.
no.
Please. Yeah. Somehow I still haven't gotten spoiled on that game, but I'm gonna have to, like,
Good.
blitz it. I'm gonna have to, like, hide in a closet and just, like, for like
Not
two
for real. Like
weeks, just, like, go at
that's
it.
something I'm so glad that like I had no knowledge of going into it.
Right.
Like I remember seeing it's crazy because I remember seeing the first trailer and I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I'm sold. I don't need to see anything else.
Anymore, right?
And there was something that they showed, I guess, in the first trailer
Mm-hmm.
that I don't remember because I only saw the reveal trailer and I was
Right. Because
if
also
it's been
without
so
context, you're
long,
like, okay, goes
yeah,
right
and
over
it's
your
like, and
head.
if I don't see something and it's been years, like my brain will just forget, especially if I'm
Mm-hmm.
not constantly consuming it. So there was a particular scene when I started the game and I was already just bawling, and a lot of people were like, "Wow, I can't believe they showed that in the trailer too." And I go, "They fucking showed that in the reveal trailer." I was like, I don't even remember
Yeah, no.
because it was like years ago, and I was like, "Thank God I didn't remember that," because I was like, I don't think I cried.
Well, you didn't have context, right? It takes the story and the world building really does a lot for games
That
and
too,
stories.
yeah. It was like leading up. I
Yeah.
feel like if I saw like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like maybe like because I saw it happening in the, I don't know if I would have cried as much,
Right.
but it definitely was the context leading up to that particular moment in the beginning
Right.
where I was like, oh, that's just heartbreaking, man.
Yeah. Um. Anyway, Clear Obscure. Go play the
Claire
game.
Obscure. Yeah, go play it.
So back to my questions. There's only a couple more, so you're not here for much longer. But,
I'm
um,
vibing.
what are you most proud of? And maybe that's not the thing that has got the most viewers in stream, or the most views, likes, subscribes from your YouTube or even TikTok. Like, what is something you're most proud of in content creation and slash or IRL?
I really think it's just how far I've come since everything.
Mm,
Cause today, like I just feel like my most authentic self. I feel like I've really come into my own. And like for the first time in my life, like self-doubt, the like mental stuff aside, like when that's not in the way, it's like I genuinely do love the person I am. And I've never had the like confidence to ever say that. And I feel like because of that and how it like affects my IRL and how I just navigate just anything in real life, like it's definitely bled into my creative outlets, which has, I think, let me also become let those things like really flourish and become super like authentic and unique, especially with just kind of everything that I'm currently working on. So I would definitely say it's just like a lot of the like self growth and just who I am today for sure.
Right. I feel like for me personally, I said something in my own episode where I go through these questions that I don't think I'd be who I am today without streaming. Like, do you feel like,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
yeah,
Because especially, it's wild how everything keeps going back to 3 years ago. It was like if I wasn't
mm-hmm.
streaming, I wouldn't have met the people who I know I don't think I've ever I don't even know if I've told you this, but it's like I don't think I've ever told anyone this, but it was like when I was going through all of that stuff and I had people like yourself, the few people that I just consider close now, like reaching out, checking in constantly. Um, it was like I don't know where I would be if I didn't have that because it got to a point where like I started confiding in you guys and I was letting myself be vulnerable and I was like, if this bites me in the ass, like it has 100% of the time, I was like, then it's something I'm used to. I was
Mm.
like, it's nothing new. But it was like the complete opposite of that, and it got to a point where it was just it was almost like life was like, nope. Like there was times where I was just like, like who cares? And then like you would reach out, and it was like that particular moment where it was just like my brain wanted to go this way, and then life was like, nope, and it would like have someone reach out, and it was like you guys a lot, and I feel like this is a lot to say, but it was like y'all really were my rock, a lot of that,
Mm.
and I think it was like realizing that I had people who genuinely cared. It gave me a bit of a sense of purpose where I was like, people actually care, people actually want me around. This is not used to. And then I guess that's where I let reconnect kind of test those waters a bit more. And so it was like people like actually wanting to be around me, inviting me out to places or hanging out with me during like the party that we were having throughout the whole event. It was that particular moment. I remember like being devastated on the flight home. Like I was like crying at the airport. So I was like, man, I don't want to like leave this.
Mm.
Um, it was that moment when I flew home. That was where like I doubled down, started going back to therapy. I wanted to better my life. I was like, I need to be the best version of myself, not just for me, but I was like for these friendships that I'm gaining. So I was like, I want to grow closer with these people that I never thought I'd have connections with, and it was like a good driving force. And then it was just like as the days went on and I started seeing more of just like hope at the end of the tunnel, especially with my grandfather started noticing the difference, and he wanted me to start doing better for myself as well. So he like helped me where it came to like paying off the debt that I had, which allowed me to further start new, moving with my brother and my roommate who I'm now. So it was like a lot of you guys really were just like that anchor or that starting point for me where it was like it encouraged me to want to be better. So it was like I don't think it's wild to think like if I didn't have that and I completely just went MIA, like because before I was gonna just deactivate all my socials, I was gonna just go ghost. It scares me to think about like what would have happened if I did that, but I'm glad I didn't because it was like if I didn't have that, if I didn't have like you guys in that moment, I genuinely don't know where I'd be.
Yeah. I remember feeling so annoying for reaching out so much and being like, he's probably like, girl, I don't even know you.
No, it was like that. Yeah,
But
because in my head I was just like, I'm like, does she genuinely like want to know, or is she just like, I'm bored. I just want to see what this dude's doing, and I'm like, what's wrong with
no. Yeah, no. As a person who's been in shitty situations and had to like pull themselves out of the deep, deep hole of just like shit, like I saw your stuff and I related to it. So I just was like, I get it. I know you don't know me, but I'm here for you if you ever need something. And you're like
Yeah,
sick.
it was. Yeah, I saw that. 'Cause I remember the first time I read that in my
hmm
brain, I was just like,
Who are
huh.
you?
I was like, man, Venus reaching out. I was like, that's weird. I was like, why does she care? Because in my head, I wasn't used to that. I was like, why does she
Yeah,
care?
yeah.
And then I think you like reached out again,
It
and
happened
you were
multiple
like,
times.
no,
Yeah.
yeah, you're like, yeah. I think it was like after the first couple times, I was like, I'm like, she's like actively checking in. It wasn't just like a hey and then gone.
Nothing.
It was like
Right.
a like actively checking in, and I was like, maybe she genuinely does like care and wants to be there. So I was like, I was like, I guess I'll see
Yeah.
what's up.
For the record, I had
And
nothing to
then
gain from that. Just like being there for someone that I feel like I've been in similar situations. So I got it.
yeah, and it's just now we're fucking besties. So
I
I'm like,
know.
look at
Look at this.
that.
Imagine me not being annoying in the DMs, which is crazy. That's a
It's like
crazy sentence.
that annoy me back in the DMs, annoys me now. No.
Constantly annoying. If there's one thing about her, a fucking annoying. You're like, I don't know if I want to show up. There's new people there. Just show up. You're like, God
You're like,
damn
shut
it.
up. Or it's just
Anyway.
like when I'm being annoying, I'm just sending you the most obnoxious memes and gifs.
I know. I'm like, wow, here we are. Anyway,
my
friendship
God.
online is amazing if you find your
Yeah.
right people. So, Xander, what is next
Yes.
for you? Is there anything you're excited for in the gaming, online space, IRL space? What is next?
Honestly, I think the one thing that I'm most excited about is getting my story like written. Like I'm super excited about just the stuff. Like I guess second to that would just be the whole like rebrand of things. 'Cause it's like it stemmed from like it started 3 years ago, and it's like what I had now was it was more of like, I guess this is just like foundation. This is just temporary. Never knew what to do with it, but it was like writing Dreams We Carried has like bled into like what Somnus 2.0 is going to be. And so it's like I'm excited to see all that come together for everyone to see that. That's like the second thing, but I'm really really excited to like I guess make my debut as like a self-published author, I guess. Like
Oh my
that
God.
sounds crazy,
Yeah.
but like that's something that I'm really really excited about.
Oh my gosh. Well, I can't wait. I can't wait for you to share your characters and your story and the
I sent you
background and the world
I sent you
building.
something.
Yeah, yeah. No, I can't wait for you to share it with everyone else.
Oh, I was like I sent you like a
You're
good
like,
little
you've seen
preview
it,
of
bitch.
it.
I'm like, no, I'm trying to plug you. Damn it. Anyway, y'all should stay tuned because what he has cooking is insane, and I don't think you've seen anything like it. I'll be honest.
Thank you.
Gosh, let me plug you, dude.
my brain's miles away now.
I know.
This should set an end overtime now.
No. Well, this is actually all the questions that I had tonight. Thank you, Xander, for being on the pod and sharing so honestly and deeply.
Thank you for having me. It was a blast.
Everyone, this has been the Xander. Please be sure to check him out over on Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok for more chaotic fun. And I will see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.